you fucker. That's for 50 counts.
Shit.
So that might be 30 millimeters. Also, like there's a game. It's hard, but it's like for burnouts on the bag. Keep the bag at an angle at all times.
In an angle?
Yeah. Like.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Dude, it's fun.
I'll have to try that.
We'll do them at the end. It's also a power. It kind of teaches you to realize, like, huh, more power, more power, more power, more power. Like, that's all it does the whole time. It's just teaching you power. It burns the shit out of your stomach, though. Find the angles on the bag. You know, you can. I'll get that marker. I got a white marker. I've been thinking about doing it today. Hands all wrapped right here.
No, and plus my bracelet is hurting me.
Feel your wristband?
A little bit.
Yep. So that'll help you get an idea of where you're going. So like your 1, 2s are always coming up top. Chin, chin. 5, 6, the reason it's a little bit lower is because your uppercut, you're coming down and up, right? And then 3 and 4 are wide, because the punches are wide. But yeah, that visual reference always helps. And then, when you're hitting it, you can work on, and like you don't have to hit right in the numbers, man, because like obviously the number's right up here on a patch. Yep. Got a double end bag inside if you're gonna go right here with it. Straight down. You know, I'll just keep it up, and then whenever I want to use it, I'll have a attachment on my kettlebell, and I'll just put my 50-pound kettlebell straight down. Pull my car out. Double end bag is the one that has just the ball in the middle. It's on a bungee. Hand speed and dodging. I also got a sway bag. You hang it here like a pendulum, and it's for, because you can't see from behind. You don't want to get hit in the back of the head. It's all sand. 12-pound bag. Ooh. Yeah, so it doesn't, I mean, it doesn't hurt, but it'll let you know. Like, you
amazing.
need to move your fucking head.
Oh, yeah.
And then also for heavy bag work, I can hold, which is probably not a bad idea for you, considering you're trying to hit targets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I can rotate with you. If you move, I move.
Yeah, the gravel.
Oh yeah, buddy. It's attraction. Makes you have to focus a lot more on footwork.
Yeah.
You can't have a wide stance. You gotta be right in the right spot. You'll feel your feet slide back too. Yep. Like real quick, you're like, oh wait a second, I'm too far back. I need to get closer. That means you're reaching if your back foot's sliding.
Twist.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you. Yeah, that works for core, man. The hooks don't do them. And don't ever think that hooks are just for bodies either. In phase two, no problem, right? All day. And hooks are good too because just like that 90 degrees I told you about, this is an angle. So instead of having to step to the side, you're actually creating that angle already with that punch going out to the side. And that's why it's so important to know when you throw hooks, and your hook is the one punch that there's not, like you're not always following through and extending out, right? Because you're staying in the hook position. So that's the one you've got to know when your punch is coming from your like where the power's coming from here, and then when you're hitting a point where your rotation's actually coming in, and that's the follow-through power. So initially with the hook, the way it's thrown is you're going to get your power because you're leaning back a little bit, right? So you know this is your power hook, and then as you swing, all your arm energy is initial. And then and that's to get your arm in this 90-degree angle, and then you're rotating, and it's a fluid motion. So don't overthink this, but it's a fluid motion, and so you're actually rotating your hips is how you're hitting their chin and following through on the punch. So that's all your body power coming through on it, right? Versus most of the time, if you just do it with your arm and you do this,
Yeah.
that's cool. I mean, it'll hurt, but if you go and you hit. See what I'm saying? There's a huge difference in what happens to the bag. I mean, just that elbow, right? And then you've got the whole fucking bag lifts. It's just a different game. And so that's learning that. And so that's one punch where when I'm throwing it, as I hit here, like right as your body, right as you're impacting, you're rotating through and continuing that arm flow, right? So that motion's coming all the way across, and you're ending. Your hook should end with your arm and your bicep almost kissing. You can almost kiss your shoulder at the end of a hook because you're swinging through, right? But your head's got to stay aimed at the opponent, so don't move your head with the hook. Your head stays at the opponent. It's the rotation of your body. That's where the power comes from. So think about that because that incorporates into the uppercut, the jab, and the straight all. But the hook, when you get the hook down, you're really learning how to use not just your hands and your arm strength, but your entire body to throw a punch. And that's really what boxing is learning how to use your whole body and staying in control of it to where you can use your whole body, but you stop. You'll spin out of control. So that's why that core work is so important. That's why those hooks that you're doing
are so important, because that really is developing the muscles. That's where that strength comes from, to that final part of that rotation, because a lot of it is it's like a diagonal almost. It's like it starts in your foot with the push. The push is to push your arm. The arm gets to the point where you're at the exact 90-degree extension, and then that's right about in front of your face typically, and then the final follow through is that rotation of your body through your hips. So just try it. One really easy workout for it is stand bottom. Right here to the bag. You sit here and go. Try not to fall. See that? So, I mean, I use a lot more on that, so that's out of control, right? And just do that in the position, do it just the right until you feel it. And you'll know what I was talking about. And you'll know, and I'll tell you when you're doing it too. I'll see it in your hip rotation. Be comfortable where you know you can keep your balance. Yep. 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 Now rotate through your hips and rotate your upper body. Throw it in your right shoulder in towards your chin as you throw that punch. Try to hit your fucking chin with your shoulder and then rotate your hips with the motion of your arm. So the same direction your arm's swinging in like a pendulum, I want your body like this. Feel that? Feel that, right? You're rotating, and that's a rotation with your arm in the position of the punch. Now, with that rotation in mind, incorporate the arm power that you have and throw that fucking punch with that type of a rotation in mind. So that's what you're doing, is that rotation at the midpoint of the punch. So you're starting with your foot, your arms coming with power, and then as your arm crosses the middle of your body, you rotate with your arm. Don't watch your fist, watch the opponent. You can always grab the bag and stop it. Yep. It's coming. I'm gonna hold your bag. You're getting there. Put this down, man. With the arm. Power with the arm. Power through. Swing all the way through. End in here. There you go. Get that out. Rotate. Rotate. There you go. Rotate. 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 Your stomach should start burning. If you're not feeling it in your stomach, you're not fucking rotating hard enough with your hips and your torso. Breathing. Breathe out. Breathe out as you need. Breathe out as you need. Breathe out as you need. Knock through it. Knock through it. There you go. That's totally different now. That's a totally different punch. Feel different? Yeah, dude, because initially I was watching you. You were doing good. Good punch. But it was really all coming from like here and through your arm. You were throwing your arm, but once you started doing the rotation, you'll notice you don't even have to punch nearly as hard, but when you hit that spot, the bag moves different. Because when you're hitting it like this, the bottom of the bag shakes first. When you're hitting it hard, the whole fucking bag moves all at the same time. Yes, the whole bag will move. So when you're not hitting with full power, the bag tells you. So when you rotate through, or you're just punching with your hands, you're going to see the bottom of the bag shake around like that, right? actually hit with power, this whole bag will lift and elevate and shift all in the same direction. That's what you want, is that power. And you gotta learn how to get that power. And a lot of it's just digging deep, but you're seeing it in my foot. Like, I'm not moving a whole lot because I'm just rotating. That's what that is. It's a rotation. So your whole body it's fluid. I hate to use the stupid Bruce Lee shit, but like water, man, like literally feel it. Like, if you want to, you could drop your hand and throw them from here, but you know how a hook needs to be thrown. You need to drop your hand. And this is part of that rotation. That's what I'm about. But you can see, you just go like this, and then start bringing the power of your body into it, and your arm, and your shoulder. So if you want to for a while, you can just sit here.
Just use your hips.
Yeah, just like keep your arm locked. Just do that rotation, and you'll feel that, and you'll see the bag moving the way you want it to. So you'll feel that, and you'll be like, okay, how do I do more? And that's where the push with your arm, that's where the extra power is coming from. So this punch, the rotation with your arm in a fixed position, and then the extra power comes from your ability to use what I'm teaching you, which is power from all through your legs, all the way up your hips, so you're pushing, right? Explosion. It's an explosion. You're literally, I mean, like that. Like, you should almost want to tip forward in a way, because that would tell me that you're at least rotating. Because if you're tipping forward, you're pushing so much momentum that the bag's not even able to absorb all the momentum. So you still got so much extra energy left over that you're tipping this way, which tells me, yes, you're using your torsos, but what are you not doing? Controlling yourself. So that would almost be like an out of control punch. So the ability to have the power, throw the punch, rotate with it, and stay in control all ends up here. And you'll feel it, man. Like, you know, rotate, and then trying to think about the analogy where that power comes from someone. Like, if you throw your shoulder into someone, it's the same momentum that you get. You do like a shoulder check, right? It's the same momentum for the punch that you do like a shoulder check. So maybe if that helps you, like, do some shoulder checks into the bag and get a feeling of what it would be like if I were to, like, put a punch behind that. You know what I'm saying? Like, shoulder, 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 and then be like, right? You see what I'm saying? Like, that shouldering, like that momentum of your foot pushing off your back foot, throwing your shoulder into it, is the same type of momentum that you're going to use in a punch.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That might help you. I'm just trying to think of easier ways to cross it over. But learning this is important, man. This is the difference between, like, literally not even having to throw a hard punch and just KOing someone, or having to feel like you're throwing with all your power and not even KOing someone. You're like, what the fuck's going on? It's because you're not using your body. So your arm weighs about 15 pounds, 20 pounds, right? So that's about as much force as you can generate with your arm. Give it, and then you add momentum in. The rest of your body, if you can use even half of it, 70 pounds, 60 pounds, you see what I'm saying? 75, 80 pounds? That's a lot, right? So think about that. Like, I don't want just all my power coming from my hand and my wrist and my arm. I need to get this power out of my legs. And when I push off my back foot, it's telling my arm to go forward. It's telling my hip to rotate. It's telling me that this punch isn't intended to land where the bag starts. This punch is intended to land and finish through the back of the bag. And that's the way I see every opponent. I want to punch through their fucking face. I don't want to hit them in the jaw. I want to hit their skull and their brain.
Like you said, scoop the back of their...
Yeah, I want to get my fucking knuckles to hit the back of their cranium and feel that round fucking part of their head. Sounds graphic, I get it, but at the end of the day, that's what you're doing. You're not here to chin check people, you're here to fucking knock them out. Yep. There it is. And you want to keep your arm at that 90, man, because you bend your wrist on a hook. The hook's a lot of power, bro. You bend your wrist on a hook, you're going to feel it. So keep doing what you're doing. That was perfect. Just make sure you're keeping keeping that 90-degree angle, because this 90 right here is clutch and maintaining that power and not bending the wrist. Yep, exactly.
I see what you mean, like almost falling forward.
Yeah, there you go. Because that's because of momentum, and that's good. That's using your. There you go, man. I can see it now, man. Feel the difference? Yeah. It's a different game when you get your body behind it. Right. Yeah. You feel the difference? It's insane, right?
The falling forward is almost getting me.
Well, it's what happens. I mean, it's better to have too much momentum than it is to not have enough. You can always step forward. Yeah, so much different. So much different. Now switch, now do a left. Now put your body behind a left. See if you can cross it over. Yep. That's a good punch, dude. That's solid. Yeah. See how you, and notice how you almost have to sit into it to get there? That's now you're hitting those twitch and those trigger muscles, man. You're pushing now. Now you're snapping your punch and you're following through with your body, dude. That's what you want. There you go. Now you start incorporating that same mentality into a jab and a straight. And now your jab, boom, has fucking power versus just a snap, right? Now you're actually knocking someone in the fucking face with a straight or a jab, and you can knock them out now. Now that you know how to get your body behind you, that jab's that now. It's not this. It's this. See how there's a push almost at the connection point? That's what you want in all your punches. So at your connection point, there's that push, and that's how you lift them. I mean, and I'm not even hitting as hard as I can, but it's like, it's all knowing the motion and knowing that my body, like my hand and my arm is only so fucking strong, but if I use my body and I push, like I'm throwing a fucking shoulder and push through that motherfucker, like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, you're literally like lifting a fucking bag, and I'm not throwing hard, I'm just throwing with my body. Like, you know what I mean? Like, stop that. Your body.
So, now that I got that motion better now, can you show me that shoulder check punch you were talking about?
Yeah.
Before?
So like when you're, you're doing this here, right? Shoulder check. So just like that, shoulder check's coming forward. Instead of doing that shoulder check, remember how I taught you the rotation?
Yeah.
Doing this thing. That's the same motion now. Now you're going to incorporate that with the hips and the swing. And so now you're feeling it. Like if you sit and do this together, you'll feel you should feel your thighs start burning. That's the second point. The first point is your foot, where you're pushing off of your toes, right here. So if you're doing this motion, you're feeling that, right? So we're rowing, And that's building up this momentum in your thighs and your legs. So as you're coming forward, you should feel that. That's your forward momentum. Now you're creating that from your foot, right? But now your arm also has a job to do. It needs to throw a punch. What punch is it? Is it a hook? Is it a straight? Is it a jab? Which is it? But you're keeping this going. And so your shoulder chest punch like that. You know, obviously you'd get fucking, if somebody was like a halfway decent boxer, they'd uppercut the fuck out of you. But the point is, you're learning this motion. Right? And my arm stays in my face. So all this is my foot and my body. That's it. Because I'm not using my hand as a push or a trigger or anything. Keep my hand even with my body. Throw your body into it. Put your hand up here, right by your fucking face. Stand next to the bag. And keep your hand even. Don't use your hand for anything other than just hit the bag. Throw your fucking hand into it with your shoulder and your hips. And your foot. Keep your hand pretty much even with your face. And I want you to hit the bag without moving your arm. And hit as hard as you can with the rest of your body. Everything else but yes. Exactly. You don't get to use your arm as leverage. Your arm stays in one spot. It's your foot, body, stomach, everything else. See that? Now do it like you fucking don't give a fuck about the bag. Like, fuck this bag. This bag is the reason that I'm unhappy right now, or whatever. Find that. Find that motivating factor. Yep. 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 Fucking huge difference, dude. Huge difference. Yep. Yep. You can see it. Keep doing that workout. That's a good one. It'll save your, there you go. And through the bag. Remember, the chin is the starting point, the head is the ending point, so add that extra 6 to 8 inches onto that push and see if you can step through the bag without throwing your arm. You know what I mean? So see if you can try to just step through the bag as if you're approaching your opponent. You're about to do your first one. And you're throwing it like, it's like here, and your butt, and up the back of your leg. You're just pushing on that fucking toe, like, I mean, you're trying to rip the fucking ground out. You know what I'm saying? Like with your toes. That's how hard you're pushing. Pushing as if you're trying to step to fucking China. You know, you're trying to push through the ground in a way. And you can't, so then you can only go forward. Push off that back foot. Push off that back foot. Push off your back toes. Push off that back foot. Push. 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 Yep. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, you feel that? So like, I mean, you should know now, you can feel it, that there's a lot of power that comes just from your toes, from that push off of your toes. Just this motion here alone. I mean, if you can lift your fucking body off the ground and stand on your tippy toes, then that means there's a lot of power here. Well, that foot's placed in a direction towards your opponent, right? So my foot's facing forward, your foot's facing back, so you're pushing this way, right? Think if you were gonna, like a sprinter, forward motion. So turn the angle of your foot forward. Yep. It feels weird, I know, but this is, now you're in line. Now you push off that foot with your toes the same way, and you're going to feel more power with your foot facing forward. It could be slightly at an angle, just like that. Okay. Slightly at an angle, but the point is, this push off that back. So put your heel down, have your fist to your side, push off, and just get to your tippy toe. Get to your tippy toe. And then think about that as a full body motion. Yep. Yep. now I want you to fucking do it as a hook. Throw the fucking, now do it. Same motion, only now you're actually gonna allow yourself the freedom of throwing your arm. So now incorporate what you know about a punch, which is that you're gonna throw the punch, you're gonna keep your arm in a line, and use the rest of your body the way you've been doing that same punch, just incorporate a little bit more motion with your arm, and follow through. This might hurt. If it hurts your wrist, let me know, but it may hurt. That's okay. That means you're throwing as hard as you can. You're good. You ain't hurting shit. There you go. Is your wrist bending?
Why don't I just do it?
Oh, stop. Stop? I would. It'll get worse and worse and worse. Yeah, just keep that in mind, man. It's not going to get better. And you know, that skin will get stronger over time from hitting a heavy bag. Good, that's normal. And it's been over 30 minutes, so it's definitely normal. For sure. Yep. You're learning how to use your body now. It's a totally different game now. Now you have to learn how to stay under control, but keep going hard. Keep doing what you're doing. Yep. Huge difference when you're throwing with your whole body. Push off that fucking back foot. Push off those toes on that back foot. Yeah. There it is. That's the momentum I'm looking for. Now focus that into power, into the bag, and keep your eye on your opponent, and that will help you stay balanced. Oh yeah, dude, it's doing this shit Rocky Balboa full style. Yeah, I love that. It's gotta feel the difference. Nice. Thank you for clearing stuff off my roof for me. Appreciate it. Big difference, huh? Now you know why there's so much footwork involved with it. Because if your feet aren't in the right place, it's hard to keep balance.
It's like 2/3 the equation.
It's significant. You're absolutely right. It's the difference between a fighter and a street fighter. that bag's strictly just lifting and going back, lifting and going back, lifting and going back. It's all power, bro.
That's shoulder check.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, I'm a good teacher. I just have to do it, and then as I do it, I think of things. You know what I mean? And so like that shoulder check motion, like you're just getting ready to just lift somebody off the fucking ground. The difference is you're doing it with a very concentrated point of your fist. It's fucking significant. You know, like if you could have an elephant stand on something wide enough, but it comes down to a point, and that point focuses in one area, that would hurt a lot more than having an elephant stand on something spread across the whole surface area, right? That's what you're doing with the punch. You're using all the elephant weight, your body, and you're focusing all into one little point, the punch, and that's what you're doing is delivering all the fucking energy that you have, like that elephant on that triangle coming down, and that triangle, that tibia, that little point right there has a fucking ton of pressure, literally at that point. That's what you're doing with your punch. It's the same thing. You want all the fucking energy in your body, every piece of it, to go through your leg, all the way out, through your arm, and then back out through the back of their head. If there's not emotion in it, then you're not there. Yeah, exactly. And then once you start learning that now, exactly, do it. Do what you're doing. Start incorporating it into the other punches now and see the difference. Huge difference, right? You know why that happened? Straight or hook. So you have two options, straight or 90 degrees. Anywhere in between those should be an uppercut only, right? So your uppercut's a 45, your hook's roughly at 90, and your straight is a straight. So if you throw like this, or like this, and there's angles that aren't supporting a 90, 45s are even tighter, right? Because you've got support all the way through here. So your uppercuts are coming in like this. You know, if you don't land an uppercut, like you should be swinging almost above your head with an uppercut. But when you're throwing like this, if you ever bend a wrist or you feel like what just happened right there, it's because you're going in between two punches. You're in between a straight and a hook. And what's that called? That's called ow, typically, right? Because your wrist is going to bend. So, and that's because you're not following the body. You're using your arm. The only time you're ever going to bend your wrist incorrectly, typically, is if you throw in the hardest fucking punch you can. Okay. Fair enough, right? You should expect that. Or is if you're just throwing with your arm, and your arm will go all over the fucking place, right? But your body and your arm should stay together. So when you're throwing these punches, once again, remember the shoulder check, that straight that you were going, because I saw you go one, and I saw you go like this, right? And you got here, and it was almost like, okay, I didn't throw straight, and this isn't quite a hook, fuck. And that's why you got jammed up a little bit there. So just keep that in mind. Know what you're doing. So you were going to do a 1-2, I think. Am I right? Okay. So 1, 2, straight. 1, 2, straight. Straight, straight. Straight, straight. And then incorporate the body. And that's that push and that shoulder check. So keep that arm in line and you won't have that issue. And also wraps. And from now on, when we do heavy bags, I'll make sure I wrap you until you've got wraps down properly, because it's very important to have your wrists supported now, especially the further down we go. Huge difference. how much more powerful. Crazy.
Dude, it's crazy.
I mean, you're doing it just right too. I like how you're like, okay, you're seeing what's working for you, and then you're like going through the motions, and then you're like, okay, something just fell apart. So then you go back to what was working for you, and then back to figuring it out. I like that. That's troubleshooting. But yeah, no, like what I just saw today was a huge increase in body usage and way less. So what you should start having happen in your workouts is it feels everywhere sore. Instead of it just being up here, it should be everywhere, dude. Your calves, your thighs, your butt, all of it, dude. Sometimes even if you're not hydrated properly, people always used to get them in the arches of their foot. They get cramps from being on their toes so much and pushing off their toes. For your wrists, whenever you run, I'm sure you stretch. So when you do your stretching from now on, don't do it with your hands in a supportive position. Do it, and don't hurt yourself.
Right.
Get yourself in a position where you can handle things like this, and you can do stretches like this. You can rotate your hands in, and every time that you do it, you're stretching these joints here, but you want to make sure you're putting some pressure on them because you've got to strengthen them, and then you flip it over and you do the same thing, right? And you can put your hands in all different directions, and all of them are good. All of them will build all of those wrist muscles that you need here. And then there's a workout you can do if you grab yourself just a hammer at home. And you sit on the ground and go like this, and let that hammer fall as slow as you can to the ground. And then lift it back, straight back up.
And that's a good wrist
Dude.
motion workout.
Dude, huge. And what you'll do is you'll, not just that, but you'll also build the connective tissue. And depending on where you sit, but a good position is just to kind of be like this right here and just let it fall. You'll also build connective tissue from your forearm to your bicep. And that's the area, that's the next area that'll hurt if you don't strengthen it. It works its way from its wrist, and your wrist will slowly get weaker while you box, right? And that just happened today. I know it did. So slowly over time, what happens is like you're boxing, hitting the heavy bag, right? And you're good, and then you kind of have a little bit of a wrist sore. You're like, that kind of hurt a little bit. And then you box, and then you get another one, and you're like, that kind of hurt a little bit. And then they keep happening, and they could become more frequent. That's weakening of the wrist. That's happening over time. So the way you counter that is strengthening of those. So very important after you do workouts like this. You can do them immediately or do them when you get home, whatever you want to do, but is taking all of your muscles after you do these workouts, want to like tighten up, right? And if you can elongate and stretch out muscles after a workout because you're breaking them down, and so they're going to build back up automatically, build them long instead of short. And that will keep you flexible and strong. And then doing little hand, like I promise that, just grab yourself a 12 or 16 ounce hammer, whichever you have at home, hold the base of it, and just sit here like this and just let it fall. Do 10 on each hand, like this, and you'll see, and it'll build this right here. That's the muscle that you want to build up, is this one right here, the connective tissue between the forearm and bicep, and then you'll also build up wrist strength and all the connective tissue from your thumb, forefinger, middle finger, all through here and around the backside as you do that, because you're letting it fall all the way down, and then you just lift it back up. And it's all about letting it go as slow as you possibly can, and you'll feel it over time. This will get big, and you'll build these up. And these are muscles that most people don't even know how to activate. I'm being honest with you. Most people in a gym, when I've done these, why I very rarely have gym memberships, because I do weird workouts. But I'll have people come over and be like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'll have a 5-pound weight dumbbell, and I'm doing it with like a dumbbell, right? And they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm building up the connective tissue right there. And then these monsters will be like, I don't fucking have that muscle. And I'm like, I know you don't. It's because you don't do any of this kind of shit, right? And it's boxing muscles. It's you're building up relevant muscles for what you're doing.
So it's like this piece
It's
right
here.
here.
Oh,
No shit, yeah.
all the way down here, bro.
You're right, yeah.
That's the connective tissue
from your forearm to your bicep. This is what connects the two together. If you don't have strength there, bro, you'd be shocked.
And you develop that just through doing like those side weighted rotations.
Look at that. That's all you're using is that muscle.
And you do really lightweight, like you
Yeah.
5 pounds to like.
I use a hammer, bro. Like a 16-ounce hammer will work just fine. But I do, yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I've got dumbbells, so like, you know, the dumbbells got the to do the curls, got the bar,
Yeah.
and then you got your weights. So I got a 2.5 pound, 2.5 pound, and then the thing comes out like this, and I grab the long end of it, and I just let it slowly fall like this. And yeah, you want to increase the weight because the more weight you put, the bigger this gets, the stronger it gets, the more you can handle and punch, and the more load you can deliver and handle. So, you know, all of a sudden you're boxing, and then you're fighting someone your size, your weight, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, like you're out or something, some big fucks with you, and you're going to hit some 250-pound dude in the stomach. It's totally different than when you hit me in the stomach or someone your size in the stomach. You're gonna need that fucking muscle to be stronger for that situation, and that's what the importance of that. It's also going to keep you from getting tired quicker when you're throwing punches, and then the last and most important thing is it like mitigates the risk of injury significantly. Because what you don't want to get is a boxer's fracture, which is when you punch and then your wrist bends and it hurts so bad to hold stuff that it feels like something's broken. And they call it boxer's fracture. It's actually a ligament or a tendon that you hyperextended, and it just until it gets itself back in position, there's a nerve and shit that would just be on fire in there. And so you've got, you just want to avoid that kind of
It's
stuff.
like right in between the ball of your hand and your wrist.
It's like right here is
Yeah.
where you'll feel it. Yeah. It's like right in there, and sometimes like right across the top of your wrist right here. And so that's, you'll know. So like if we're ever doing any work here and you hit and you feel like, stop. Like we'll stop. It's no big deal because like you want to do it again the next weekend, and you will not be able to if you continue on with the boxer's fracture and continue to hit it bad. It just gets worse and worse and worse, and it inflames it. And the more inflamed it gets, the longer it takes to heal. And it takes like 2 weeks. So then you miss a week of boxing, plus you got to do your life, so it extends out that 2 weeks. Because that 2 weeks is if you can do an ideal healing scenario. You know what I mean? Like elevated, like rest, ice compression, elevation, rice. All that for at least an hour to 2 hours a day. Like no one has the time to do that, and it's not realistic. So that's what you would need to heal it. So therefore, if you can't, then it just extends out, and then over time, it can get weaker and weaker. You can build up calcification. Then you get carpal tunnel. Bad, right? Avoid. So in the meantime, doing workouts with low amounts of weight. Like I said, start with the heaviest amount you can handle, and do 10 of them. Or you're literally like, I mean, it's painfully slow, but it's so important to do it slow because that's how that muscle is built. It does not build with quick movements or anything like that. That muscle is a very slow, connective muscle, and it can only be built a certain way. And there's only certain workouts you can do. I was out here doing workouts with this rope earlier.
Yeah.
But there are things you can do when you get further advanced to strengthen them, which are like holds like this out here. And that's all. I mean, it's a lot of your shoulders too, but that's all a lot of this here. But you've got to be in a certain position, and you can see where it's at. But you're like literally tensing just that muscle, and so you hold that as long as you fucking can, and then you'll slowly start just.
Would a good substitute until like in pain like that be just like one of those lateral raises?
Yeah.
Or no, not the lateral raise, but the lateral pull down?
Yeah, like rubber bands, like this.
Or just like at the gym where they have the bar that you sit and then you pull down, just holding it like this?
Yeah, holding it just like that. Yeah, because you're gonna activate this right here. Especially if you do it at a 90, you're gonna activate mostly your shoulders. So you go a little bit outside of 90, a little bit outside of that comfort zone, which is gonna be weaker. You're gonna be weaker like that. But if you're at a 90, you're not gonna activate it. You're gonna be a little bit further out. So if the bar is one of those curved bars, you want to have your hands as far out wide as you can, and then try to pull in on the bar while you're holding it out there like that, and you'll activate those too. Okay. That's another way to do it. But yeah, it's good. It's important to get that all strengthened up, so that when you're out here doing this kind of stuff, because obviously you can tell that's significantly different from target hits.
Yes.
It's not friendly.
I'm gonna feel that tomorrow.
Oh, 100%, dude. Yeah, it definitely. You know, it is what it is, but
what I liked seeing was the start to the end, and I have it all on film,
Yeah.
which is crazy because I'm about to see it. Because you were out here hitting the bag, you were doing good, but then all of a sudden, like, power came into play, and I just noticed the form got better because your form has to be good for the power to come. Because for it to all work, you really got to be in the right position. You know what I'm saying? You do. Like, it doesn't. It's not magic, man. But there's definitely.
There's a difference.
Oh, it's a huge difference. It's a huge difference when your body's behind a punch. It's the difference between, like I said, a street fighter and a trained fighter. That is the difference in real life. That plays out in real life. Like, that's why, you know, like, you never, like, Kimbo Slice, I don't remember him. He was a street fighter in Miami, like, knocked motherfuckers out. Real big, swole, black dude. He got into
Kimbo Slice.
Yeah, he got into MMA, and he got his ass beat for a while, and then he finally stopped street fighting and started fighting properly. And he did all right. Point being is he was one of the baddest street fighters that existed, and walked into an MMA ring and just got fucked up immediately. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's the difference between a street fighter and a trained fighter. Is a street fighter is gonna fucking make you bleed and sting your face, and a real fighter is gonna knock you out. There's a huge difference. You know, a street fighter is getting marked up and skinned up. A trained fighter is going home with their clothes looking nice still. Or someone else's blood on them. I'm telling you, it's the difference, and it's knowing how to keep your body behind you, because also there's movement involved. This is all static. Start moving, and you can really get power, because if you start moving your feet around and you get your foot movement down, now you start putting yourself in positions where you know that I'm going to take this step to the right, because my next move is me coming down as this left foot comes over, and then powering through with the hook. And so, like, you know why you're doing what you're doing before you're even doing it. You're doing static punches now, just using body and momentum. So that's good power, that's real power, and that's all the power that you can deliver, right? That's it. Like, I got nothing else, Raj. This is as much as I can put into it. It's all, I got nothing else, right? But once you start incorporating movement, and you get the momentum of your body from moving, or going towards the opponent, and you get to feel that power of pushing off the back foot while you're moving forward, that's another level. Now now you're at a level where it's you know, you're dangerous then. You go from learning how to punch to learning how to effectively punch to creating power to delivering power and then to being dangerous. Like, that is the movement. And so you're learning right now how to deliver power. And pretty soon you're going to be fucking throwing power. And then we'll get to the point where it's like, you know, I'll have the gear on, we'll be at practice, and there's going to be a day where I'm like, don't hit me in my body anymore. For real. There'll be a day where I'm like, this isn't thick enough. I need a real coach's pad. And they make them. They're super thick and they're bulky. I don't like them. That's why I got that smaller one. But they make coaches ones to absorb heavy amounts of impact. And I still, once a boxer's got it down, I don't want him hitting me in my fucking organs, dude. You don't want your organs shifting around. Trust me. So those body shots and shit that you're doing right now are so dangerous, and they don't play out right away, always. I mean, sometimes a liver shot's effective enough to where a guy's like, I'm done. That fucking fucked me up. And he's gonna piss blood. But the truth of the, oh yeah. Dude,
Jesus.
Oh, 100%, dude. 100% he's gonna piss.
I didn't know that.
For at least a week. His fucking, you're gonna bust his liver, dude. And so, like, I mean, it happens in fights. That's only gonna happen from power, dude. And that's from shocking the internal organs. Through power.
I was gonna ask, how much time do you have today? Because it's a little afternoon.
Yeah.
I'm completely free till 5, so I can do as long as.
I mean, I gotta get this truck unloaded. I do need to research some companies for work tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, probably maybe like
couple more minutes.
Yeah, we'll probably end at like 12:30,
What time is it now?
12:20.
Okay, that's perfect.
Yeah.
And
I-
you just want the stones like right here?
That's all I'm doing with them. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna start doing that now. Yeah, I'm gonna put them down there in the creek and keep this. We're gonna lose it in all this. So I'm gonna start stacking them up and then bring them down a little bit. When this snow melts, it's no joke. You're gonna get to the point where you're gonna be able to keep that bag elevated. So every time after there's a workout, I go back over with a metal rake and smooth it all back out. That's pretty standard right there. That's good, man. Good shit. Good workout. It takes a lot of effort to put that divots in like that.
Yeah.
It does, man. Like I said, you're pushing off your foot a lot more, and it's evident here. It's like ancient martial arts trainers that have sand pits for a reason, for their fighters. That's so they learn how to use their body. But also sand teaches you how to just use the limbs as well. Because if you push off your feet too hard in the sand, you go down.
Yeah, this little ski thing I think
Oh yeah.
hitting with the right way.
Yeah, no, you don't want to keep doing that because that's an irritation. Your skin will break down over time, and then you'll get to the point like you just have real rough skin up here on your knuckles, which is, I mean, it is what it is.
Ideal.
Yeah. I mean, you can put moisturizer and shit on it to deal with it, but it's nothing that's gonna hurt. If it cracks or anything like that, make sure you put moisturizer on it. But you do have to break your hands into a heavy bag. That is a real thing. The best thing I could tell you to do, and you're probably not gonna want to do it, but is like you can find a tree or something like that, and just sit there and go like this, not hard.
No, kind of like what you were telling me, how you just kind of
Yeah.
finger distance away, just build up.
Yep. And over time, it just builds calcification across your knuckles, builds up extra bone density, and it's a good thing. It's not bad. It's just gonna make sure your hands don't break. Nothing happens to your hands. As you get older, will it have negative effects? I don't think so.
as long as you don't do it too bad, you know, there's people that overdo it and then
You're
they
not
get
just like full seams or
yeah, like there's no need. Like there, you know, there's people that I mean, there's boxers out there that have way bigger calcifications on their knuckles than even I do, and it's I think they end up having joint issues and stuff like that later on. But just take care of yourself. Don't push too hard. If you're feeling hurt, like push as hard as you can, sure. But if you feel hurt or anything like that, like just step back.
yeah.
Because it's not a, you've got to have a living, and it's not going to be boxing. We're both smarter than that. So, this is just for you to know and work out and know how to fucking punch. You know what I mean? Like, the difference from what you started at today to where you are right now is huge. And I don't think you could have done that with target mitts. I don't think you could have done it with target mitts. I just don't think it's possible to learn power.
I was even starting to get it on my other hand too, on my other pinky.
Trust
Wow.
me.
Yeah, you're right. It worked too in.
Oh, dude, it's not. It's yeah. Like that's not. I think I understand why Hector always wanted to do target mitts.